Our featured speaker is a Marine Corps veteran, author, adventurer, and entrepreneur. Combining his life experience with years of research in neuroscience and psychology, he wrote the book Fearvana, the revolutionary science of how to turn fear into health, wealth, and happiness. Just this week, he was profiled in Inc. magazine, and the Dalai Lama said of his book, Fearvana inspires us to look beyond our own agonizing experiences and find the positive side of our lives. Please welcome Akshay Nanavati.
It was 10 years ago that I was sent to the war in Iraq with the U.S. Marines. One of my jobs out there was to walk out in front of our vehicle convoys and look for improvised explosive devices before they could blow us up. As you might imagine, this was a somewhat dangerous job. So we had to learn to find joy in the face of the fear. One day, we're walking across a bridge. The first sergeant, who's a higher ranking Marine than myself, took the left side. I took the right to make sure there's no bombs on the side of the bridge. Midway through, the first sergeant sees something that looks a little strange, and he says, "Nanavati, what is that?" I said, "I don't know." That didn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence in him to begin with. So I take out my rifle, I have a scope on it, so I'm kind of walking over to it, checking it out, trying to see what this thing is, make sure there's no wires. As I get closer to it, I lean back and I kick it. This is not an effective bomb detection strategy by any stretch of the imagination. My first sergeant jumped back and he said, "Nanavati, what are you doing?" I said, "Don't worry about it, First Sergeant, it's nothing." I kind of knew it wasn't a bomb. I was mostly doing it just to mess with my First Sergeant. But for the rest of my deployment, the big joke was that Nanavati's going to get blown up today. Funny, right? Yeah. But we had to do such things. By learning to laugh in the face of the fear and the inevitable stressors of life in Iraq, I found peace in the chaos of war. Little did I know at the time, though, that my greatest battle would be after coming home. See, when I got back, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Before I even left, I lost a close friend of mine to the war. And I always felt that I should have gone there with him. I always felt that it should have been me that died instead of him. What right did I have to be happy, to be successful, to be alive, when so many others had suffered so much more? And so many others had died out there. Who was I? I struggled with life in the normal world. So I drank. I drank a lot. I drank to the point that I considered taking my own life. That moment hit me hard. That's when I said something needed to change. I have to do something differently. So I began researching neuroscience, psychology, and spirituality, not only to heal my own brain, but to figure out what does it take to live a happy and meaningful life. And that search led me to the secret of Fearvana. Fearvana is the bliss that results from engaging our fears to pursue our own worthy struggle. And we all have a worthy struggle. It could be raising a child, running a business, writing a book, running a marathon, climbing a mountain, anything. There is no right path. There is a path. And if we don't choose a path, if we don't seek out that worthy struggle, struggle will find us anyway, as it once found me. I am grateful that it did, though, because it led me to Fearvana. It led me to the realization that happiness is not waiting for us out there somewhere. It's in the pursuit of a meaningful challenge and learning how to smile in the face of that challenge, just as we did in Iraq. And since then, I found Fearvana climbing mountains in the Himalayas, building a business, starting a nonprofit, skiing 350 miles across the world's second largest ice cap for a month, and even in the beautiful and terrifying process of writing a book on Fearvana. These things were not easy, but that's a good thing. The path to enlightenment is not to escape fear, it's to embrace it. There are a wealth of hidden gifts waiting to be unearthed in adversity. For the greater the demons we have to battle within ourselves, the greater the divinity required to defeat them. Today I have a picture up on my wall of my friend, and it says, "This should have been you. Earn this life." My guilt has become my greatest ally in staying sober. In telling myself now that since I am still alive, let me do something meaningful with this life. Let me give back. Let me never stop seeking out that moment of Fearvana. Because when you find yourself in that moment where one version of you wants to quit and the other wants to fight, you will enter the doorway to the next stage of your own personal evolution, into your next awakening. So I invite you to get out there and create that moment, because that moment will create a new you. Thank you.
Akshay Nanavati! Great, man.